introduce myself, but you know exactly who I am.
One of the hardest fighting members of WWE, Kevin Owens, has his WWE contract set to expire at the end of 2024. When he signed with WWE in late 2021, it was reportedly a lucrative contract in the range of $2 to $3 million a year. Since signing that deal, Owens headlined 2 consecutive WrestleManias, including one against Stone Cold Steve Austin in his one match in nearly 20 years. And he's always been a regular on WWE television. He's that guy, reliable in any position you put him in, a convincing utility player who can go have a hardcore banger or deliver convincing dialogue on camera and on the microphone. When he's asked to step up, he does it. By the time his current deal ends, he will have been with WWE for 10 years. It's crazy to think how time flies, and he's managed to make himself a mainstay on WWE's roster, despite all of the competition within WWE and the competition outside of it. It isn't even a rumor that his contract with WWE is coming to an end. He pretty much confirmed at the end of 2022 that he had 2 years left on his deal. Not only that, but reports have suggested that if KO decides to leave WWE, All Elite Wrestling, ran by NFL team owner Tony Khan, is a more than willing party to scoop up his services. And he has a lot of wrestling history with some key members of their roster, specifically the Young Bucks, who he was in the Mount Rushmore faction with in his independent wrestling days. But apparently WWE, now under the TKO banner and new ownership, doesn't want to let him go either. So if Kevin Owens could become a big name free agent in just a few months, it begs the question: should he stay with WWE or go to their arch rival, which is well funded, in AEW? It feels like there's only 2 options, but we'll make the case for both scenarios and give you our opinion on what KO's next move could be or should be. It's just speculative here. Don't take it too seriously. Let us know what you think in the comments below. This is Sportskeeda Wrestling. I'm Kevin. You think you know all the wrestling stories? There's more you haven't heard yet. Join us on Backstage Pass. It wouldn't be a massive shocker if Kevin Owens simply decided it was time for him to take on a new, fresh challenge, maybe with a significant pay raise, if that's what we're talking about as well. We've seen situations with legends, people that are absolutely phenomenal wrestlers in the league of Bryan Danielson and Adam Copeland, aka Edge, where they pretty much achieved whatever they wanted in WWE and decided to make the jump for a new creative pursuit, and not necessarily just financial reasons. But don't worry, these guys are getting paid, which is a major reason why AEW has been able to compete with WWE in some form or another for the past 5 years. It's well financed. For personal and really creative reasons, he would be able to reconnect on the road with many of his close friends in the wrestling business that predate his time in WWE, as we mentioned. And we're not just talking about the Young Bucks. Adam Cole, baby. It would give Kevin Owens a new purpose in his career and a lot of new opponents to work with. He's a bit of a loose cannon, so in the ring, physically in a demanding style that AEW demands of its wrestlers, it might just create new things that suit him, new things that give him creative pursuits on the horizon as a wrestling entertainer. You could also argue that KO might have a better chance becoming a world champion in All Elite Wrestling than maybe WWE as the cards lay out in terms of the pecking order with other big-name superstars. That's no shot at him, just looking at a forecasting of things. The last time Owens held a world championship was nearly 8 years ago. That's a long time in pro wrestling. He's gone on the record saying that his Universal Championship run in WWE in the mid-2010s didn't go maybe exactly as he wanted it, saying it went fairly quickly, and how he had a really different mindset at the time. So maybe, just maybe, AEW might be the choice for him in terms of giving him new options, new pursuits, and new prizes to fight for. Beyond that, the deck looks a lot more stacked towards one side, which is the side where he re-signs with WWE and continues for however long he feels he wants to continue. When Kevin Owens signed his most recent deal in 2021, he said that the decision was pretty easy because it was the best thing for his family. So, looking at that perspective, that reason alone has a lot more weight to it than maybe the reasons we listed out for the creative pleasures he might or may not find in AEW. But then again, AEW has been known to offer those lucrative contracts with lighter dates for big names. Some have speculated they have several seven-figure talents on their payroll. Also, you have a way lighter schedule in AEW than you do in comparison to WWE, with all of its traveling commitments for live events and doing media appearances to promote everything WWE. He's been a Triple H guy in the eyes of many for many, many years now, and it's hard not to see why we would want him to stay in Triple H's WWE, where the overall vision from a man at the top has always been kind to Mr. Owens. I mean, on screen as characters, Triple H said, "This is the next guy," and helped him win a world title. It's also worth noting what meat has been put on the table with Kevin Owens' current character arc in WWE, where there is very clearly a lot of thought and effort put behind his actions on TV every week and what they mean and what they represent for his character. At the moment, we're seeing a version of Kevin Owens who's a good guy actively trying to fight his vicious nature and natural instincts to betray his newer or revived friendships. He's come up short for the WWE Championship, and he's in a situation where it seems almost inevitable that he's going to betray Cody Rhodes. That's a long-term storyline. That's something he can be committed to and benefit from in the long term. He's low-key having one of the best stories in WWE right now. Yeah, don't doubt us on that. This one's going to come up on you. And it looks like it's going to build up to an even bigger and better thing. Let's not shock ourselves if Kevin Owens is once again a WWE World Champion. Yeah, I know earlier we said the deck is stacked there. There's a lot of talent, a lot of possible world champions. But Owens being a heelish champion again, being villainous once more, adding a depth to his character, are you telling me he can't powerbomb himself into a new reinvention? Can. Now, once again, over on the other side, AEW could offer all those big money checks. They could offer fresh, new, exciting challenges for Kevin Owens. But he likely can benefit more in the long run while collecting a sizable check and being on television every week like WWE is going to afford, with that storyline that's going to be as committed to him. I'm not saying that AEW can't offer that, but it's inconsistent. Some people that have gone over there have benefited, some a little less than others. There's also the fact that AEW, having many multi-million-dollar signings, may not prove to be sustainable in the long run. They simply don't have the same structure in terms of what they present every week on TV that WWE does. It's not a shock, just the circumstances. Based on pure financial statements alone, WWE is certainly sustainable with their talent payroll. AEW can pay him. Money's not the question here. It's what Kevin Owens wants. Now, we clearly don't know that. We're just speculating, as I said. We would still love to hear from you in the comments about this. It's not hard to see how somebody like Kevin Owens could transition into a backstage role once his in-ring career wraps up. He has gained a wealth of knowledge in his profound career that lends itself to him being something very special for newer and future crops of talents within WWE. With the company's multi-million-dollar talent line from the WWE Performance Center and WWE NXT, where Owens himself has greatly benefited, he would be a trusted, wise asset there. It's a hypothetical scenario, yeah, but to know that there's a warm and familiar wrestling space waiting for you when your final bell of your final match has been rung has to be a fulfilling purpose for people who are very about their purpose in pro wrestling. To have something keeping you in wrestling after you're done wrestling, a lot of people like that idea, especially if they work in wrestling. It's hard to say how much time KO has left in his in-ring career, so that is also a very gray yet influential part of what he may or may not want to do with this upcoming potential deal. Ultimately, it comes down to what he feels is best for himself and his family. Considering how great his WWE run has been when you look back at it, how he's been risen up to the echelons at the top of the wrestling industry, it's hard not to think what he might do next. It's just something we're considering. What does he want to do? What do you think he should do? What would you like to see him do as a fan? If he doesn't stay with WWE, are we getting Kevin Steen in AEW in the future? Oh, we didn't even bring up this idea. What if he doesn't go to AEW or WWE? What if he goes to the independents? Yeah, it's all a possibility.